She humps his boot with her wet, and then he says, "Get on your knees and lick it up." She licks this man's boot like she's starving. She loves to be degraded. I mean, not only does she like to be degraded, she likes to be humiliated. And I'm like, I can't even wrap my brain around that schmink because, like, who likes to be humiliated? No schmink shame at all. I'm just like, I can't wrap my brain around it because, like, I do everything possible in my life to avoid feeling embarrassment and humiliation. I'm jumping ahead though. That doesn't happen yet. So she's been warned about him. She's like, stay away from that guy. He's a drug dealer. He's not for you. He only sleeps with girls and then he leaves them. Like, don't mess with him. And she's like, oof, I can't stop thinking about him though. And he's just so nice to me, blah, blah, blah. And then they start doing things. And she's like, whoa, 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 wait, wait, wait. I'm a Virginia Slim. He's also helped her through a couple panic attacks, and no one has ever been able to calm her down from a panic attack. I will say this is kind of minor, but she does have that ex-boyfriend that's in the picture, and he's like obsessed with her, and he like was like, "Why am I not good enough for you?" And then he sees Zai coming around, he's like, "For real, that guy?" So then there's some beef between them, and like Zai's like, "Never, and I mean never, be alone with that guy. You are mine now." And honestly, it does not take long for him to be like, "I don't want to use her for this. I don't want to play that game anymore." And everyone on the North Shore is like, "Are you shitting us?" He's like, "No, I like her, and I'm not going to do that." This is why I like this man so much because he was straight to the point. He was actually very good at communicating. Yes, he's keeping two big secrets from her, but he does actually plan on telling her. In fact, she's like, "I'm ready to get it on with you." And he's like, "Okay, well, first I want to tell her all the truth. I don't want her sleeping with me until she knows everything. And then I want her to choose to sleep with me willingly after she knows the information that could ruin us." But she's too hot and bothered. So he's like, "Okay." He's like, "By the way, I know you like degradation. I know you like humiliation, but she doesn't like pain. So I just want to make that clear." He's like, "I'm going to give you tonight. I'm going to make love to you. And then after that, no more nice guy." And I was like, ah. And I thought that was really sweet and caring and kind. And he's like, "Okay, now that we've done it, there's no going back. You cool with that?" And she's like, "Yes." And she's like head over heels for him because that's just, she's never loved anyone and no one's ever loved her and treated her like that. Because he's very kind to her. He's like, "You deserve XYZ." And when people walk all over her, he's like, "Don't do that." And he takes care of her. Like, she's like studying, doesn't eat. And he comes over, he cooks for her. He's like taking care of her. He's like checking in, like, "Have you had enough water today?" Like all that shit. But he is still a psycho because at one point her ex is talking to her and they're having kind of like a conflict, and he comes through. He rolls through and he like goes, breaks that guy's wrist. Just like that. She's like, "No, stop." And the only time he stops is because he's like, "Well, you told me to, but like, just so you know, that's your one pass. It's never gonna happen again. If anyone like messes with you, they're done for." So yes, he's from the wrong side of the tracks. He doesn't have money. He has a violent streak, but he treats her so good. And she's like, "I don't care. I want to be with him." All her friends are like, "Girl, what are you doing? He's in a gang. He's in a gang." And she's like, "No, he's not. And I've asked him, and he said he's not." "He is, girl." And the reason he lied about that is because he wanted to keep her safe. He's like, "I don't want her part of this. I don't want her dragged into this." But she gets approached by the two brothers from the first book, Ethan and Elliot, and I do not like them. And I know they get a book, and they'll probably redeem themselves, but ugh. And they're like, "Oh, hey, yeah, your man's. He's fighting tonight. You want to come watch?" He's like, "Fighting? He said he had something to do." Like, "What?" "So yeah, I'm going to come find out why he lied to me." And Zai and the brothers have been having this beef for a long time because apparently, I don't remember her name. The two brothers are obsessed with this one girl who was also in the first book. And I guess she's missing or kidnapped, and Zion knows where she is, and they're trying to find out. So they're doing anything in their power to get that information out of him. She comes, she sees him fight, she realizes, oh, he is in a gang. She goes to confront him, and she overhears a conversation between Zai and Emma, who's the leader of the North Shore crew, about how they're like, "What are you doing? You need to get the information out of her. Like you said you were going to use her." Da, 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 da. And he even says, like, "No, I don't want to do that." So she hears that, okay, he was using me, but now he doesn't want to, but the damage is done. So he sees her there. They get in a huge fight. She's like, "We are breaking up." He's like, "LOL. You're never getting rid of me. We're not breaking up." And he apologizes profusely, which I'm like, who is this man? Like, who is this psycho that deeply apologized? He was like, "I was going to tell you, but like things got in the way, but like, I'm truly sorry. I want to move forward." She's like, "No." He's like, "Okay, whatever. I'll give you space, but like, this is not the end." And this whole time in this book, I was like, when is she going to see the scars on him? Because she remembers that her kidnapper had those 3 scars and they've been getting it on. But I guess he's never really taken his clothes off all the way. But she has seen them. And as the reader, we don't know that she's seen them because he didn't have a shirt on while he was fighting. But again, just wait. Those two brothers threaten her. They're like, "Give him a message for us." She's like, "I shan't be doing that because we're broken up and I'm never going to see these guys again because I'm done with this. I'm done with this side of town." Moving on. Of course, he does not stop texting her, hounding her, calling her, and she's at this party. They are always with this frat, and the frat has like initiations, and this one guy tries to force her to give up. Guess who pops up? The man who be stalking her lover. And he's like, today's your last day on earth, brother. She's like, don't know what. He's like, no. I gave you that one pass that one time. I told you if another man messes with you and touches you, it's done for. So she goes with him, and they take this frat boy. He beats the crap out of him. They take him to like a forest, and he's like, I want you to see the real me. He's like, you know about me being in a gang, and this is me. So if you choose to love me after this, so be it. And she's like, okay. No one's ever wanted to do that for me before. So he goes, bang, that kid is done for. And then they smooch, and then they make up. Now she wants to introduce him to her parents and her dad, particularly because she knows her dad will have a fit over it. She's like, this is part of my plan. I'm like, what plan, girl? And Zai has asked about the bruises on her body before, and she like won't tell him. He's like, yeah, I guess we're both keeping secrets. You lied about the bruises. I lied about this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm going to find out, though. And when I find out, that guy's done for. So I think she wants to invite him to this party where her dad's at, because I think she wants something to happen where the dad, and then he sees and whatever. And I'm not wrong. He doesn't show up to the party. You know why? Because those brothers come around. And they're like, we told you we were coming for you. Your girl didn't tell you. And he's like, what? No. The two brothers unalive his best friend, who's a girl. I was like, oh my God, these guys, they're going to go and I'm going to like them? So he's super pissed. He's like, okay, my best friend died. And they're like, your girl didn't tell you? And he's like, what? No. Like, why wouldn't she tell me? I could have prevented this. And all his family and friends are like, see, your head's in the clouds. You're in love. And you didn't protect this side of town. Like, you failed your people. So then he goes in there, breaks into her room, and it's just like that night she got kidnapped all over again. And then he confesses, like, yeah, it was me, babe. And she's like, what? And then, oh my God. Even though she's so mad at him, she's like, I would have loved you forever. Why did you tell me that? And he's like, this is me, babe. And then he takes a pew-pew. He puts it in her mouth. And he makes her do that with the gun while he's getting it on with her. And, of course, she's loving the whole thing because she likes degradation and humiliation. It was intense. I gotta speed this up though, but he's like, take me to your dad's office. I need information on him. So she takes him there. The dad's there. There's a showdown. The dad then on her, and he's like, what? And he's like, oh, it's your dad. Your dad's been doing that. And now it's all making sense why she is the way she is and how she's anxious and a people pleaser, etc., etc. And it's revealed that the dad is actually the one who hired him to kidnap her because he wanted to look like a family man rescuing his daughter. And it all comes full circle. And anyway, it was part of her plan. She planned all this out so that he could unalive the dad. And he sure does. He's looking at her. He's like, love you. Pew! And she's like, oh my God, you did it. You did it for me. And I'm like, of course he did it. He like unalived a random frat guy for you. You don't think he's going to unalive your dad? And because he loves setting things on fire, he sets the whole house on fire with him. And it's ruled like, oh, the guy fell asleep with a cigar, yada, yada. Turns out the mom is actually the one who wanted the North Shore crew to find out dirt on him. So like, everything was tied together. And anyway, they live happily ever after. A lot of things happen in that last, like, 15%. Oh, wait, I lied. It's not happily ever after. She's like, I need to go find myself. I need to know who I am as a person. He's like, don't leave me. He, like, begs her. And she's like, no. And her mom is a famous artist and, like, a billionaire. She's like, hey, he's really good at art. Forgot to tell you that. He's a good at art. She's like, give him a chance. So then they meet 3 months later. He has a gallery opening. And she's there looking at all the artwork. It's all inspired by her, obviously. And he's like, okay, I'm done with this distance. Let's be together. And she's like, okay, I love you. I love you too. This man loved her so much. I love this series. But I'm telling you, am I going to like those two brothers and that one girl? Because I honestly despise all of them. All of them. But that's what books do. They make you like people you shouldn't. And I'm excited to continue this series. Highly recommend.